Welcome to the Digital Edge. Get ready, because today we are really diving into the world of artificial intelligence through the eyes of a true visionary, Geoffrey Hinton.
Yeah, a real pioneer in machine learning. And it's amazing, he just picked up the Nobel Prize last December 2024.
Right. And he first really started talking publicly, around when ChatGPT burst onto the scene in 2023.
And that seemed to just tick off this massive AI arms race. We're talking hundreds of billions invested, like overnight.
Exactly. So now Hinton's retired from Google. He's got this unique independent view on, well, his own journey and where this incredible speed might be taking us.
Our goal today is really to get into his foundational work, sure, but maybe more importantly, his current concerns, big concerns.
Okay, so the Nobel Prize. It was kind of unexpected for him, wasn't it, in physics?
It was. He said he never really saw that coming, mainly because his real passion was modeling the brain, understanding how that works.
Not physics per se.
Not really. But the prize was for deep learning, which was inspired by the brain, and, well, it revolutionized AI. So there's this twist,
His work on neural nets, trying to figure out biology, ends up being key for artificial intelligence.
Precisely.
So let's dig into that foundational stuff. Back in, 1986, he proposed using neural nets to predict the next word.
Yeah, just predicting the next word in a sequence. It sounds almost too simple now.
But that's the bedrock, isn't it? For these huge, large language models we see everywhere today.
Absolutely. Those complex systems trained on just massive amounts of text, it all stems from that core idea.
What gets me is the speed. Hinton himself says he thought we'd get here, but not this fast.
Right. Even 10 years ago, he didn't see this coming. 40 years might have seemed ages away back then, but...
Wow. It flew by. And this acceleration, that's why his warnings now feel so urgent.
That speed is exactly what's fueling his anxieties now. He sees the potential upsides, education, medicine, maybe climate change.
But he's mostly focused on the risks.
Primarily. Think about his analogy, AI as a cute tiger cub.
Right. Starts off appealing, harmless even.
But as it grows, can we be sure it won't become dangerous? That's the core of his worry.
Okay, so let's get specific. What are the dangers he actually points to?
Well, he predicts AI could make authoritarian regimes much more oppressive, give them better tools for control.
And hackers, too. Make them more effective.
Yeah, much more effective.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't just theory for him. He's spread his own money across 3 different banks because of these kinds of worries.
Wow. Okay. And the big one, AI taking over.
He puts a number on it, a 10 to 20% risk.
10 to 20, that's quite a number.
It is. And he thinks most people just haven't really processed what that could actually mean, the scale of it.
This looks like AI could amplify the bad stuff already out there.
Exactly, which leads to the control question. Can we even build AI to guarantee it stays friendly, to ensure it never wants control?
That's the fundamental challenge, isn't it? Alignment, safety.
And he's not alone in worrying. You hear similar things from Sundar Pichai at Google. Elon Musk is always calling for regulation.
And didn't Sam Altman, formerly OpenAI, say it could be the end of the world?
He did suggest something along those lines, yeah. These aren't fringe concerns among the leaders.
So looking at how AI is developing now, Hinton's worried about the competition, this race, including with China.
Deeply worried. He points to companies lobbying against regulation, trying to reduce it, basically.
Even though we barely have any tough regulation now.
Right. He sees it as chasing short-term profits over, well, long-term safety for everyone. The competition seems to be overshadowing caution.
It fits his pattern, though. He's always been a bit of a contrarian, hasn't he?
Totally. Moving to Canada because U.S. funding involved the Defense Department. Sticking with neural nets for decades when everyone else dismissed them.
That takes conviction.
Definitely. And maybe it runs in the family. His father was an entomologist, George Boole, the algebra guy, crucial for computing, and George Everest.
The mountain guy.
Yeah. He talks about maybe inheriting this curious mechanic's mind, always wanting to know how things work, how to fix them.
Like tinkering with that camera lens he mentions.
Exactly. And he applies that same hands-on tinkering approach to the neural network models themselves, really trying to understand their behavior, not just use them.
Which brings us to Ilya Sutskever, his protege, right?
Yeah.
Chief scientist at OpenAI.
Yeah, and Sutskever was key in that move to push out Sam Altman in 2023. The reason given was largely safety concerns.
Hinton must have been proud, initially.
He said he was, but he also called it naive because of the potential financial hit to OpenAI employees if Altman stayed out.
And Altman came back, Sutskever left. It shows the tension, right? Safety versus speed and money.
Absolutely. And Hinton's expressed some disappointment, maybe gently, with Google, Meta, XAI too.
About not focusing enough on safety research.
Yeah, not dedicating enough computing power to it. He thinks it should be way higher, like maybe a third of the compute time spent just on safety.
A third? That's huge compared to what people assume they spend now.
It's a significant ask. He believes it's necessary, though.
So what's the solution in his eyes? Government regulation.
He thinks it's essential, absolutely necessary. But he's not holding his breath. Seems like he doesn't expect it soon.
So he sees this huge thing coming, knows regulation is needed, but doesn't think it'll happen fast enough. How does he feel personally? Is he despairing?
He says he doesn't despair, but partly because it's just hard to fully feel the scale of the change, to really internalize it. He knows we're at this unique point in history, unlike anything before, but grasping that emotionally is tough, even for him.
And the AI labs. They say safety is important, support regulation in general.
Right, they say the right things, but often oppose specific rules and aren't exactly transparent about safety spending. And remember, Hinton specifically mentioned banks as targets.
Which is why he spread his money around, a concrete action based on his forecast.
Exactly. So summing up, we have Hinton, the foundational architect, now deeply anxious about where his creation is heading, the speed, the direction, the potential dangers.
He's ringing the alarm bell from the inside, essentially.
Pretty much.
And that really leaves us with something to think about. If Hinton himself struggles to fully internalize the potential scale of this change, what does that mean for the rest of us? For you? How do we, as individuals, as a society, grapple with these huge possibilities, these uncertainties in our digital age? What's our responsibility here when the future feels so hard to truly grasp? That's all the time we have for this edition of The Digital Edge. Thanks for joining us.